Hey everyone, this is Genesis here. I'm coming back to you with another video. This one's about a cool little function I'm going to release out to you folks. It's very specific in what it does, but some of you may want it. And I figured, I haven't seen anything like it or couldn't find anything really easy like it. So we'll go ahead and do that. So what this function does, and not this one, I am setting this up so I can teleport wherever I want here. I'm just on Malden here. I have a function that I wanted to find the lowest and highest point roughly in an area that I provide, right? I wanted a function that would tell me that this is the high point, this is the low point, this is the middle point, whatever. So what I have is a function here that simply, when you give it the object, you want it to center around how far you want it to go from that object and the precision of how closely it looks for height. And then it'll go and it'll give you a giant array at the very end that is filtered from the highest, the very first index, and then the very last index is lowest. So it's just a continuum. Okay. So I'm just going to showcase it real quick to tell you how it works. And let's see. Here. I'm going to pick a spot maybe right over here. And I'm going to pop up. Looks like we have some mountains right there. Let's see how. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the command. I want it to center on me as a player. I want to give it a kilometer search, and I want it to be precision. This is essentially how much does it check within an area, like how many places does it check. You can go all the way down to 1 meter, 1 by 1, so it'll go in a 1,000 by 1,000, so 10,000 meters. It will check meter square. I guess 1,000 meters squared. It'll check 1 meter to find the highest point, which is very accurate. We're going to do 100, just so it happens real fast here. And you can see as soon as you hit it, it teleports to roughly in those hills that you saw when we were down there. Now we're up here. And you can see it wasn't super accurate because, we can probably run it again. That's better. Yeah, it's not bad. We got us on top of this hill here. This is that technically higher over there, but I have it going by 100 meters. So what if I reduce that down to maybe we'll do 10 meters? You can see I put us inside a rock, but hey, look at that. That's pretty close. So you can come down here, and what this is doing right here, it's selecting the closest one to the highest. Okay, and there we go. Here's the highest point you can find within 10 meters. And then, there we go. And we could do something like, maybe we can do 10,000 and 100. This is the highest point that it could find on the entire island. Okay, and it was roughly pretty close. This is the highest point in Malden, I believe. I believe that to be true. Yeah. So then you can get crazy accurate, say, I want to find in this little area here the exact highest point. So I'm going to reduce this from 10,000. I'm going to do 500, and I'm going to do 1 meter. You can't go any lower than 1 meter. I'm going to execute that. And there we go. I didn't even see myself teleport. Did I teleport? I didn't even notice. Well, let me try. Yep. You can see there's definitely a little hiccup with that one. 1 meter is definitely very demanding. Let's do about 5 meters. I think the lowest you probably want to go is like maybe 5 meters. You can see it puts me roughly the same spot anyway. Okay. Or if you want to get very specific, maybe 1 meter will work in a very small area. Yeah. So you get the idea. So I'm going to release this, and just, I guess for a complete sake, we're going to go ahead and see if we can find the lowest. Now to find the lowest is a little bit more tricky. It's set pause ASL. I think it's test. It's going to be select count test -1, because we want to figure out how many are in the index -1, right? Select 1. I think that's it. Yep. And I'll put an example of that in there. So this is the lowest point. that it could find. Maybe we can find the lowest point by 100 and across the entire island of Malden. Wow, I didn't think that went through too well. I found it. It's in the water over here. Neat. So you gotta be careful that maybe we can reduce that down to maybe, I don't know, 5K still end up in the water. It sure does. Let's try 3,000. Ah. You can see how pretty much this is the lowest point. You can kind of see using the mouse here that it's not too far off. This will definitely be lower here. We can do things like, I think we reached the limit, the distance limit here. So definitely not perfect, but definitely a nice little function. And if you wanted to find what I'm going to be using it for, most likely in Descension, is positioning within a smaller area, like within 500 meters, 10-meter accuracy. What's the lowest point here? Okay, cool. We want to avoid this area. Now we want to find the highest point, so you can change that up. Actually, what's the highest point here at 10 meters within 300 radius? Bam. We want to move along this ridge and not down here in this gully, if that makes sense. So, yep. I'll go ahead and release it. Really quickly, I can show you how it works. It's a very simple function for anyone who cares. So like I said, you provide the object, the range, and the precision. The precision, if it's anything less than 1, it puts it back to 1, because 1 itself is already, I should probably put this to 5 minimum, but 1 is already very demanding as it is. It takes the range and it divides it by 2. So the range you provide actually gets cut in half because it goes from the left and to the right. So I find a starting position and then ending position of the object, which is up into the left half. So up into the left half and down into the right. Yeah, so this is so what it does makes a giant square. That's what we're doing here. Okay. So within that giant square, what it does then is it goes, okay, so how tall is it? And it goes like this. It goes, okay, so he has a precision, we'll say, of 100. So he's got a precision of 100. And 100 is actually these little squares right here, right? So say I do a little check of 100 in this area here, and I'm here in the center. It'll do a check here, 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 and here. And that's what this little part right here is. It'll do a check right there and there, and it'll pull the height here, 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 and here. Okay? And then this next little section, it takes each of these points up here, and now it goes to the right for each one, starting with the bottom first. It goes, okay, now let's move right 100, 100, 100, 100, and it moves right by the range, right? By half the range. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, and it just redoes that. Bam, 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 bam. And it puts it all into an array. The array, of course, is called final array. And then it sorts it by highest to lowest and spits it out. And so now you can do whatever you want with that list. And of course, if you do, say, 10 meters, then we're zooming back in, this will be getting much more complicated. Or it's going like this. Every 10 meters it's checking, and it does it for each one. So it gets exponentially more demanding as it goes. So we can even do a test of this. If I do, we're just going to run the command and see how much. We're going to do 1,100. We're going to see how much it actually does cost. We're going to do hint format. This is a speed test. This will let us know how long it takes to run each of these for people who really care about optimization. If I remember right, this is saying it takes roughly 1 millisecond for it to run one cycle. I feel like that's not right. And if you drop down to 10, it should take longer. Yep, we can see it took 90 milliseconds just at 10 at 1,000. Yeah, if you do 500, it takes 22, 21, 21 is roughly around there, so you get the idea. So it's definitely not the most efficient. You don't use this one like a lot. You don't want to spam it everywhere, but you can definitely use it. It seems to run fairly decently. So, all right, guys, the link for it will be in the description. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.